Hi everyone, I am super excited. We are in the midst of a Teachers Pay Teachers sale. Um, and so I wanted to share with you a brand new product that I put up yesterday. And I'm actually going to walk you through how it works. It is a digital morning meeting for secondary students. Now, if you remember, in the last sale, I made one for the younger guys. And of course, I always think that it's important that our older students have engaging materials as well. So I have developed that and I want to show that to you. I did leave a quick note on Autism Classroom Resources page. We are going to be making a transition over to the Special Educator Academy page. So if you follow the Autism Classroom Resources page and feel like you're getting something from that, come over to the Special Educator Academy and definitely like this page because eventually that's where all the information is going to be. So this is kind of kicking off the start of that. So if you're here, I would love to hear from you. So definitely drop me a note in the comments. I want to just check the comments quickly if I can and make sure that I am indeed live. Yes, I am. So definitely share in the comments any questions you have as we go. And quite sure what preview mode is. Sorry, I haven't used the software in a while. So I want to share my screen with you as soon as I remember how to do that. Here we go. If you're here, I would love to know if you are a teacher or a family member or whatever role you play. Don't know what I just did. That was not what I meant to do. Now you can see all of my mess. Great. There we go. Okay, let me figure out how. There we go. So when you open the presentation, when you open up the product, make sure I can get this in the screen so I can see it and I can see you. All right. So as I said, this is a morning meeting for digital. So it's designed to be used with a projector and an interactive whiteboard, or you can use tablets or computers. All of that will work. But what we do want to make sure is that our students still have the ability to participate in a diverse number of ways. So I know that we have a number of students who are who are not big communicators, who may be nonverbal. So we want to make sure that we've got those tools for them as well. So in order to make sure that that is the case, I've also included a number of printables. So when you open it up, you'll see a zip file with lots of different files. And in it, you will see a read this first document. So you want to open that up. There will be a video walkthrough. None of my video was cooperating with me yesterday. And so you will see a link to get Google Slides for the projector slides, for the weather worksheets, the lesson plans that you can steal right off the lesson plans. I'm going to show you all of these. And the money problem of the day, which is actually will be a freestanding product in and of itself, but it's included in this group. So I'm going to show you there are also, in addition to Google Slides, there are PowerPoints. This is not them. Sorry, I was working on a presentation. You just never know what I'm going to be doing. So you're going to see your presentations. And I'll open the slides first. And bring them over here so that you can see them. and our lesson plans. So these are the swipeable lesson plans. There are 6 pages of them, and they are literally, you can copy and paste them into your lesson plans. So each activity in the morning meeting has a lesson plan set up with its objectives, the procedures, the materials, and the evaluation. So if you've ever used the templates that are in the free resource library on Autism Classroom Resources, this matches up to them really well. I wanted something to make it as easy as possible for you. You can change these, you can amend them. I have put in some Common Core codes in here so that if you want to try to match them up to your state standards, you've got that as well. So I've just tried to outline how you can use them effectively. And then when you open up the slides themselves, there are directions and a video on how to add a slide. It's important that if you have not done interactive boards before, that you're not going to run this on the presentation mode. You're going to run this on edit mode, which is what you're looking at here. So I've just got a reminder to people with that, because the movable pieces don't work when you're in presenter mode. So we've got a morning meeting schedule. You can move these around, you can take them off, you can do whatever you want. These are the activities that are included in this set of slides. The only thing that is not included are school jobs. And if anyone's interested, I'm happy to share a link of those in my store. But it's often how I like to end up my morning meeting with the older students, so I felt it was important to include. So in our January calendar, or whatever calendar we're on, there are numbers and there are holidays and school and home visuals. So we can use all those different kinds of things. The days are also movable if you want your students to put them in order here. I've got some other activities involving that a little bit down the line. You're going to change your month each month, obviously, and you can just anything you want to get rid of. So if I want January to be over and move on to February, I can just move my cursor and catch all the things that I want to delete and delete them. And now we can change the date. So with this, on our next page, we have a holding page, and that's where all of the extra visuals are. Now there's 2 of them. One of them has a place to match visuals and one of them does not. If you have a hard time with the fact that it's hard to get these visuals exactly on top of each other sometimes, then you might want the one that doesn't have the matching. But if you have students that maybe you want to work on them matching the visuals for the calendar to each other, then they could do that on this board. So I need I think I put my January holidays up here. I did. But let's say I wanted a different kind of number. All I have to do, these are stacked. So you want to make sure that you're getting the whole stack. So let's say I also wanted to use, I don't know, snowflakes. I gave you 3 seasons. I want to capture those. And then all I have to do once I've selected it is copy, sorry, and then come back to my page and I can paste them. Now they're going to paste wherever they were on the other page. If I don't touch anything, they'll still say selected as a pile, and I can bring them up here. By copying them, it also means that they'll still be there. So when you go to find them next January, they'll still be on the same page. This calendar gives you some options with our students. So for some of them, obviously they're working on calendar dates. And so we may want the dates on there. But for some of them, they may be working on more things like tell me where you are today. Are you at school or are you at home? And we want to obviously add our holidays in there. So if you've got too many things in a square, just resize them because you've got them regular size on your holding boards. So this makes an easy way to get more in a square and more to talk about. You can use these to make patterns if you want. So for instance, I don't need a 1 because I just used that. So I deleted that and I just bring down my 2. And today we are at school. Again, I'm just going to make them smaller so we can fit them in. So you can move those around any way you want. You can put them on a head. You can have students put them on. The lesson plans actually will walk you through some of that. And you can see that I've given you a lot of different holidays, a number of different options for numbers. There's more school and home visuals, although they are stacked on the main board. And there are birthdays, couple birthdays, photo day, field trip, field day, and Special Olympics. So I wanted you to have those as well. And our month dates are here. Our months are here as well. You can just copy them, go to the board and paste. There are 2 Decembers, one that has Hanukkah and Christmas and one that does not. There are 2 Octobers, one that has Halloween and one that does not. Because I know some of you cannot use that. So then we've got days of the week, so the students can put them in order. You can have them fill in the order. So I could put in, Sunday and Monday and leave Tuesday blank, and then Wednesday, and have them add in which one is missing. So there's some different ways you can do that. There's a very common yesterday was, today is, tomorrow is, so they can figure that out each day if that is something that they're working on. I also really like to do an activity with the students called How Did I Come to School Today? And this is one where actually in the days of the week we have response cards and a printable for them to use. So here they have just a printable, and they come printed in big, small, and with the colored background and with a white background. So you don't have to spend all that ink if you don't want to. Put them in page protectors, laminate them, whatever you want to do. You can use dry erase if you laminate them. You can also use a clothespin or a paper clip for them to show you which day it is. So then they hold it up, you scan the room, you can see how many people are getting it, how many people need help, and you can go and support them that way. Take a quick picture of it once a week, and you've got data if that happens to be a goal that you are tracking. Next up is our How Did We Come to School Today? That is one that also has the last one I find. It also has a response card. It actually has 2. One is you can take these cards that are on here and you can put them, they'll actually print, and you can put them on a popsicle stick. And so you could put them with Velcro or tape, and students can choose which one makes the most sense. I work in a lot of classrooms where all the kids either come on a bus or in a car. So I made just a quick one because there weren't other options for them. Put these down at the bottom. You might want to make them smaller depending on how many students you have. Stack them on top of each other and you will get a bar graph. So you can then have them count, compare, all those kinds of math goals, and those are in the lesson plans as well. Another way that you can do it is this type of response card. So they are going to pick using the same visuals that they used. The bike is actually a little bit different, but and again, I would use a clothespin or a paper clip. They hold it up and you can see how everybody is doing. Next up is students coming to school or staying at home. I know that we have a lot of students that are working on learning their friends' names. I typically would do a sign-in for older students, so they would sign in when they come to morning meeting with their name on a sheet of paper. I know that we also have a lot of students that are working on being able to identify their friends. So this is an opportunity to do that. I did not do clip art for this board because I think for the older students, we typically want to have pictures. So you can see I've made one here where it's me with my name. Obviously, you can have it go and find your names. I have to go find my downloads. And you can put the picture in. I'm going to choose this one. I need to move it over because she's not in the frame. So I just double click. Really, I just want to double click. And for some reason, PowerPoint is not cooperating with me at the moment. I want to move it. That's my problem. Position. I want No. In Google Slides, it's very easy to double click this and just move it. Um, you could make similar ones in Canva if you happen to use Canva. Um, crop, that's what I'm missing. So if you go to crop, you can then just scoot it over. And then her name is Abigail, and all I have to do is type it in. So I just select my letters there. And then I have a picture. Now, when I go to copy it, I need to make sure that I'm copying the whole thing because it's not going to move together. So there's a couple things you can do. Draw that box and copy the whole thing and move it. So we're going to here. Now, the only problem is that that box doesn't necessarily resize terribly well. So another thing that you can do is leave it the way it is. And if you're on a Mac, at least you can right click and save it as a picture in PowerPoint. If you are on Google Slides, you may want to use your snipping tool or your Shift Command 5 if you're on a Mac. And that will give you a box you can draw around what you want to copy. I use 5, so it goes into my downloads, and then I have to hit capture, and now I have a picture that there we go, can move onto my board, and I can move it up and down. I can make it smaller or larger. I just want to make sure I haven't selected that box when I take that snip. So anyway, so that gives me more flexibility, and you may want to use these later in the activity, so it's helpful to have multiple copies. I made a music board just for getting up and moving. These are all popular songs that I had to include the chicken dance because, you got to know the chicken dance. These are all popular songs that have a version of clean lyrics in things like Kids Bop and things like that. So I knew that there were clean lyric options out there for them, but they are all, very contemporary things they'll see on TikTok. That's why I had to put sea shanty on there. Sometimes you just, have to put what you've seen. You can have them choose, move it over. They sing. Now, when I do this in a classroom, one of the things that I do, especially if I have students who are, I dropped something on the floor, who are less mobile. And say I have students in wheelchairs, students who aren't able to get up and dance. One of the things that I will do is I'll put them in charge. And so they will have a stop and a go, and they will indicate when the classroom should start dancing and when they should stop dancing. And that can relate to the music as well. They can be telling you to turn the music on, turn the music off as a signal for stop and go. But I find it's a really powerful environmental control for individuals who often have a difficult time participating in that kind. And the music and the movement particularly, is really useful for a lot of our students. I made you a simple choice board that you can use in a lot of different ways. You could put your jobs on it. You could put choices of music if you wanted to do it that way and have them just have a fewer choices. You can give them choices of what their next activity is going to be. Those are all, you can choose who's going to be different roles during morning meeting using the choice board. And I've given you some options in the description of that as well. I have a lot of things set up for weather. And the reason for that is because all of our students are at such different levels that I know some of you will be using this kit when your students are younger and maybe let's just look at what the weather is. Some of them, we want to start making the weather report more functional. We want them maybe to learn how to go online and find a weather report, find out what the temperature is going to be and what the conditions are going to be, so that we can help them make good decisions about what to wear, about planning activities, all the reasons that we do that. So there's a simple board of just the temperature. Today it is cold and partly cloudy. These visuals are also provided in a print version so that you can actually use them physically if you have students who need to actually touch the visuals that are not doing well with the digital. It's also a good way to give them their own at their seat. There is a weather where on the board they come up and they circle. And in addition to that, you can print the thermometers out. These are in our print kit as well, and you can get this with the bundle with the print kit itself. And so students can actually have their own, and they figure out the temperature and they figure out what they might wear for that temperature. Or for the next one, it's just figuring out the temperature. So if you need something that's a little simpler, this one may be the one you want to go with. That way, again, each student does it. This eliminates waiting time for our students. Our students are not often good waiters, and it's one of the things that really can torpedo a group activity really fast, is if we're waiting for every student to give us a response on every single activity. This speeds that up. They get more practice at the skill because they practice it every day, and there's less waiting time while they wait for someone to take a turn. In addition, I've got one where you could move all of these clothes off and have them just move on the things that you could wear on a day like that. There's also another response card of just kind of what is it like today. Very simple responses that they could complete at their desk and show you. And finally, I developed some questions that you will grab a daily forecast from your paper, an app. I've got some examples in the write-up. It's got some links to it as well. And the students will actually have worksheets at their desk that they can do. So there's an editable version that has, you put the URL in here and they complete the worksheet. So you could use this separate from group activities and just have them do it. There is one that is just writing in the answers. So again, just laminate it or put it in a page protector. They can do it, repeat each one each day. The weather changes. And then once a week, take a picture of it and you've got your work product, or just have them write on the paper. This is the same thing, but they are circling the answer. So they're circling whether it's warmer or colder. Are we expecting it to rain? Should we take our coats? And then there's another one that is, again, circling with symbols. So it just gets a little bit more supported as you go along. And you may use one board and multiple versions of the worksheet for them to use depending on your students. That way you can easily differentiate. There is an exercise board, so they can choose. You can tell them how many to do, or you can take these same visuals and just make them a schedule. I like to do exercise as a part of the day. Sometimes it's part of morning meetings. Sometimes it's a break midday. And it's a good habit for our students to get engaged with and get used to doing as a regular routine, just to promote health and fitness. And that in a very sedentary population is really, really important. This is our new product, and this is one example of it. There are 200 of these slides in the money pod, and the money problem of the day is included in the secondary morning meeting. So in this case, they would just move $3. If you've got the students working one-to-one on computers, then they can move it on their own computer. If they are doing it and you have this on the board, you might give them dollars to count out, and you can go by and check who's got the right amount. They start at just easy, no change, under $10. I think there's like 25 of those. After that, there are up to, I don't know, like $80, again with no change, so they don't have to worry about change, just bills. And then after that, there are amounts with change, which you could do with, and there's change on the board at that point. They could do the exact amount, or you could have them use the next dollar approach where they give $1 over the price. And so you could remove the change if that's not something they're ready to do. And so there are 200 of these. And then there are also slides that involve adding 2 prices and adding 3 prices. So they work their way up in difficulty, and there should be enough to last you throughout the year. There's a 5-point check-in, and again, this is one that comes with a response card. So there's a check-in board. The students can come up and put their name, where their number is, and then choose a strategy that they're going to use. I'm going to use positive self-talk. And this is actually a picture of something that comes from my anxiety toolkit. They can get a fidget. They could, if they're 1, well, I'm okay. I don't need to do anything. So they can check in that way on the board, or they can check in with their response card. The advantage of the response card in this case, maybe they don't want to share how they feel with everybody in the group. So this is also a good one that they could just change, put their number on it, circle it, or put their clothespin on, and you could walk by and take a look. So rather than turning it outward, they might be looking at it inward, and you might go over and check it. And for students that have a real problem with other people knowing that what's going on with them, that might be a good use for that. Similarly, it's got one for the next slide, which is how do I feel? So it's just a more traditional kind of how do I feel board. And so they can sign in. You can talk about who feels what ways, those kinds of things. So in addition to the slides and the printables, which I've showed you as we've gone along, there are the lesson plan swipe sheets. There are additional 200 slides of the money problem of the day. All you need to do is go into that slideshow set of slides, copy it, and then you can actually, just like I'm copying this slide and I'm moving it up here. That did not work. You can move them from one place to another. So that is one way to do it. I think that's everything. Let me find my Facebook page again and see if we have any questions. I don't see any, so I'm going to go ahead and sign off. I will put the link to this on my store. You will also, excuse me while I find my camera again. You can find it in my store, and I will put the link for that. And if you have any questions, definitely drop them in the comments. You can get them as part of the bundle with the print, and as a special surprise, those of you who already own my secondary morning meeting, that is for that it's the print bundle, the one I've had for many years. Yours just got upgraded, so you got this one for free. So hop over to my purchases or hop over to that page, and you can download the new zip file, which has all of the digital slides in it as well. So that's a thank you for all of your support over the years. I just wanted to convert that to the bundle. So I hope everyone is well. If you have any questions, definitely drop them in the comments, and I will see you soon. Oh, and don't forget, sale today and tomorrow on TpT on the 28th and 29th of November. And everything in my store is 25% off with Cyber 22 as the promo code. So I hope to see you then.